Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be binding a new pinup journal that I'm making. I'm going to show you the ins and outs of repurposing a book, creating a spine, and binding your own journal. This is Jennifer from Junk Journals by Jen, where journaling is about the journey. The first thing we need to do is make sure all your papers are ready to go. And I have sewn some lace on the first sheet of each signature. The signature is the sections that we're sewing into the journal. And you want to sew lace on first before you bind it if you're going to do that. And I have some sheets that I've embossed. That needs to be done before you sew it in. So just some little things like that that can be done ahead of time. You want to go ahead and do that. So that's all done. The next thing we're going to do is cut out the guts of the book, okay? So this is always the scary part for people, but it's really not that bad. You need a sharp knife, and we don't have to be too careful because we're not going to use this spine. I'm going to extend the spine and make my own spine for it. So we're just going to go straight down. It's going to take some work, I can tell already. This one is glued really well. The newer books are, though, oftentimes. The older books will sometimes just fall right apart when you start cutting them, but the newer books are glued like crazy. Okay, I'm going to work from each side. Whoops. There we got through. Okay. Now I can go ahead and kind of tear this out. It's okay. I'm going to save the guts to do other things with. So we'll set that aside. And now put your knife blade away. It's always smart. I'm going to take some scissors and cut away the current spine. And then try to trim this up as square as I can get it. This book was Without Warning by Joel C. Rosenberg. I have not read it. I am a big reader, but I have not read this book. Okay, so that's pretty good. You can save these to do some collaging and stuff with also. I save just about every part of every book and reuse it. So we've got that done. The next thing we need to do is build our spine that we're going to use. And I cut 2 strips of a cereal box, and I cut them to 2.5 inches wide and just shy of how tall my book is going to be. So that's, you decide how wide you want your spine to be. I'm going to have 3 signatures, and I want it to have plenty of room to grow so it's not too big of a gator mouth. So I did 2.5 inches and just a little bit under how tall the book is. And then I'm going to take these and glue them together so it's a nice strong spine. I'm using Fabrifix. Hope you're finding value here today. If so, please go ahead and hit the like button. It helps YouTube spread my content so we can grow our community. I really appreciate it. And we don't need to smush this down or anything because we're not gluing fabric or anything like that. So we're just going to put these together. Okay. Let that dry a little bit. Now, doesn't matter which way they go, but as long as you have the outside on the outside. I use duct tape generally, or bookbinding tape, to bind mine. Duct tape is very strong. Tyvek tape works well. You can use Tyvek. It's got the writing on it, but if you're going to cover it with fabric or something, that works great. I'm not going to cover it. I have found this, that I had this pretty red duct tape, so I'm going to use it as part of the journal and have an exposed spine. So let me make sure this is kind of dry. Still moving a little bit, so we're just going to wait another minute, a couple seconds. Okay, give yourself a little bit of space between the book cover and where the spine is. And one thing I like to do is to take a little bit of washi tape and just tape that in place so it doesn't move all around while I'm trying to put the duct tape on. So I'm going to do that right now. Well, if my washi tape would cooperate, I would do that right now. Okay, so I got that. Now we take our duct tape. This is how I do it. First, we fight with the duct tape because it's so sticky. One thing about this is it takes a little practice because once you stick that down, it's stuck. Stuck like Chuck. There's no repositioning it. So you want to kind of make sure you have it straight. I always start on the inside. Whoops, my washi tape didn't hold. That's okay. Yeah, that washi tape was not a good choice of washi tape, I guess. Uh-oh. Oh, that's okay. There's always a way to fix things. We don't worry too much about it. There's a little piece of tape that doesn't have material on it, but I'm going to be covering some of the cover anyway, so I'll just make that part of the design. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, and then one piece down the middle. If I'm in frame here. Okay, so we've got our book bound. It closes just fine. And I've got this little spot there, but I've got a plan for it. I think I'm going to do, well, I hate to give it away, but I'm going to shrink down this picture and do something with the cover. So I'll just make sure it covers it. So I'm not going to try to redo that or anything. All right, the next step is we're going to punch holes in the spine that we're going to sew through, and I'm going to use my crocodile for that. I'm going to set it on the 1/8, which is the second hole all the way to the left. Well, not all the way to the left, the one that's in the middle actually. That says 1/8. And first I'm going to see where, I'll take a pen and kind of get an idea of where my pages fall in here. And I usually go for the 2 outside ones first and then do the middle. You want to make sure that they're, when you sew them in, that you have the holes covering the paper. You don't want the holes to be below where the paper is or above where the paper is. So make sure that you put your holes touching the paper. Okay, so we've got one here, one in the middle, and then one at the top, about an inch or so from the top, an inch or so from the bottom, and one in the middle. And then we're just going to go over to the outside and do one about the same distance from the outside. I just eyeball this. People do, you know, charts and diagrams and measure and everything, but if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know I do anything to not measure. I'm allergic to it. Okay, there we go. So we've got our marks. Now we're just going to take the crocodile and start punching the holes. If you don't have a crocodile, you can definitely use an awl or something sharp for this. I love the crocodile. It's probably the one piece of equipment I would say to invest in if you're going to spend a lot of time making junk journals. It makes your life so easy. I use it every day for something. And this is a crocodile 2 big bite. It reaches all the way to the middle, and the crocodile 1 doesn't. That's the difference between them. Now the secondary color in this book I would say is yellow, so I'm going to use a yellow thread to bind this. And I'll show you that here in just a second. Okay, so we've got our holes made there. Here's the thread I'm going to use. I think that'll look real pretty with that. And a lot of the papers have yellow in them, so it's going to look great. Now the next thing we need to do is mark our pages and then put holes in them. And you want to, what I do anyway, is turn them inside out and then mark them. I put them where I want them to lie in the book and then mark a spot where the hole would go. Okay, This last one, I'm just going to mark it off this paper here. All right. Now we need to punch the holes in our papers. Okay, I'm going to do the first one here. You want to make sure your papers are stacked perfectly or as close to perfect as you can get them. And then I clip them on both sides. Fold it back into kind of a V. Then keeping it on the 1/8. You want to keep holding it at a V so you'll get it on the crease and not on the front or back of the papers. I'll show you what I mean. I kind of got it on the back a little bit, not right on the crease there. Don't have that paper on the crease exactly right. There we go. That one. And the last one. I used to be so afraid of sewing in my pages. I used to do every other method of binding besides sewing. Now I love sewing them in. It's really kind of simple. Once you get the hang of it, it's pretty fun. Okay, so we're done with that. Now what we need to do is clean off our desk first. All right, and put our pages in order, which I know I'm going to do this one first, then this one, and then this one. So I'm going to sew in this one first in the first set of holes. And I want to take this waxed thread is what I'm using. And it moves real easy in the holes, so I like using it. It's nice and thick and sturdy. Let me find the end of it. It's a new roll here. There we go. You want to take, I take 3 times the length of the height of my book and cut that off. And then you want to take a large needle. Okay. And then one tip I just learned is to clip your end to your journal here when you go to sew this in so it doesn't come through. I thought that was a great tip. Okay, now you're going to take your needle and go through the middle and through the first set of holes in the middle, out the back, up the top, through the top set of holes, and then down the bottom through the bottom hole. Double check always that your signatures are right side up. Don't sew them in all the way wrong. I've done that before. It's not a fun process. You gotta take them out and redo it all. Back through your middle, in that middle hole. Now you want to make sure that when you come up through this, that you're, you can unclip this now. You've got one tail on one side of this and the other tail on the other. Take your needle off now and just tighten that. Make sure it's good and tight. Make sure it's okay on the other side, which it is. And then just tie it in a knot. I usually double knot it, one way and one the other. Okay, done with those clips. That's our first signature sewn in. Take our second signature. We're going to do the same thing. We take 3 lengths. 1, 2, 3. Our needle. Through the middle, out the middle hole. Whoops. Okay, out the middle hole, up through the top hole, through the top pages, all the way down to the bottom. I lost it. And then back up through the middle. Remember, make sure it's on either side. Sure it's tight. Okay, get rid of that clip. All right, last one. One, two, three. Whoops. Through the middle. Through the top. All the way down to the bottom. Back through the middle. Okay. This one's twisted. I'm going to just untwist that. Tie it. Okay. And there we have our bound book. That's it. I hope you found that helpful. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm happy to answer them for you. I think this is going to be such a cute journal. I love already how the lace is peeking out of the edge here. It's really adorable. So that's all. Come visit me at my Etsy shop, which is linked below. Take care until next time. Bye, everyone.